Okay, so welcoming you all. But yeah, no, quantum law, thank you for saying that I'm not boring. I really appreciate that because sometimes I look back on these recordings and that person's like totally fading out, got this look on their face, and I go, oh, need to spice it up a little bit or just slap you around with another good quantum dose. Okay, so, all right. So today we're going to talk about the product of resistance. Okay, and this is actually in the book. Tis a Fab Crowd. Okay, this is in the book, chapter 14. Okay, in the book. Now, the reason that it's in there is because it's pretty important. Okay, so I decided that we should have it in there. The product of resistance was mostly the product of resistance in myself. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of chat about what that looks like because it drove me insane. Okay, what is resistance? Resistance is actually where I'm trying to be an unconditional love creator. Okay, and there is something slapping me around and I am resistant to being loving and kind. Actually, you know what? In unconditional love, there is no resistance whatsoever. Okay, so if I'm not in alignment, I'm actually resisting something. Okay, so we're going to talk about resistance. And honestly, I'm going to refer to the book side of it. So I'm going to just have a little bit of a reading on it and share a couple of passages because I think I've written it better than what I could probably do orally. All right. So I'll just start off. So this is kind of like a reading, book reading. Ooh, hey. Okay, so resistance is a phenomenon in and of itself. It is a direct and major producer of mental and emotional illness and eventual disability. Wow, that's a big statement. Okay, very big statement. It is a major contributor to challenging behaviors and abuses between each other. We had just rolled into 2017, and my partner and I had a situation. It came from the form of emergency care of 2 little children for a few weeks over Christmas and New Year. We already had plans. Okay, so if you can imagine, we were not looking forward to this and didn't really want to live it. Well, that was more me than my partner, but yeah, my partner as well. Okay, so what actually happened was the plans needed to be cancelled and we weren't happy out. To fill you in, I'm always and have been quite OCD. Okay, so OCD is a control freak on steroids. Okay, that's okay. I'll admit to that. Okay, and I never needed a mental health diagnosis to prove it. Okay, so there's no point going and asking someone if I'm OCD when I already knew that I was. Okay, so I was quite willing and happy to keep my condition as it served me well. Early nursing days committed us to a germ-free world and risk management of them from ever travelling a millimetre to share with others. We were taught to keep most things and people at arm's length, used and half-eaten food, depleted plates, cups and cutlery is my number one nemesis. Don't like germs from the mouth. Okay. As a nurse, I could clean up anything else from any other orifice, but not this one. Okay. All right. So I can see you cringing a little bit. You'll be fine. It's okay. I got over my resistance. You'll be fine. Okay. So if you can imagine me with a bulletproof, disciplinary, resistant toddler with a cleft palate and so dripples, this child also peed, poked, prod, touched, tasted, climbed and smeared everything, including myself. Okay, so on instant introduction to the house, everything was instantly covered in something that you don't want to touch. In fact, you want to get a professional cleaner on. Well, the one with OCD was like that. That was me. Okay, so my resistance repulsed contact, which motivated his resistance to make contact. Okay, in absolute reflective defiance at every opportunity. Okay, so I was a mess. Okay, my house was a mess. Everything was a mess. Okay, I was a mess on the inside and out. And one thinks that, seriously, it's not that bad. It is for a person with OCD, all right, who likes everything in an orderly fashion. Plus I'm Libran, okay? We like things balanced. We like things clean and smart and crispy. All right, it's just nice, okay? I actually, do that for my house because I just like it that way. All right, so here I was, I'm just dropping out of, don't worry, skimming. Here I was, an acute pain inflicted on me personally. Okay, so when you're actually seeing something that you don't like, of course, you're actually reflecting it from you personally, aren't you? And nobody else's world was being affected. My world was. Okay, that's how I viewed it. To tolerate, not love, while feeling and oscillating between extreme anger to then guilt, to blame, to self-loathing. So I was angry for every part of it, including the part of each child, the mother, us, and the people that I was now forced to be associated with. Isn't that interesting? So your life can just change in a moment, can't it? One minute everything's honky-dory, and next minute you're being forced to live this circumstance which you would never have invited into your life. It's like, no. So we would have actually just said, no, I do not give known consent to that. No, not doing it. Okay, well, anyway, I had to learn this lesson. I had to actually come through it. I'm not sure that I absolutely fully deal with it to the best of my ability now. Okay, so I was really angry about my time being wasted, about not attending to my own interests and professional output. I was not happy with my own challenging behaviors that were displayed through irritation and compressed by sheer force and pretend compliance. Do we know that? Isn't that nasty? I'm a horrible, evil person. Let's see. That was really tough stuff. And my partner, well, she was working really long hours. We were both exhausted. Okay, so we had our stuff going on. And honestly, if I wasn't doing this in my life, I'd actually be either a comedian or a comic drawer, because I just get this picture in my head. So it's like Tara and I just looking up with these two children just coming, exploding from the heavens, just obliterating us. So I had a like full picture of that as well, which I could have drawn probably. So next book I'll have all these pictures that I've drawn, of my life to add to the book. But so what was the problem? Okay, so we've actually talked about triggered emotions are based in control. Funny that. All right, I was so triggered, and I know that I'm triggered because I know my own quantum law that's come through. Now try and have the solutions that you actually know because you've actually channeled it through yourself. Okay. Yes, triggered emotions are based in control, and I am triggered. It's like, holy cow, this is at Christmas time. Just had to get rid of my friends that I actually wanted. I was settling down for a really yummy Christmas. Okay. That was going to be good. And suddenly, no. Okay, it was horrible. So anyway, all of this stuff took place. And this little fella, they actually end up going into foster care, and you wouldn't believe it, but 3 or 4 years later, here I am. And Tara and I've got these kids living with us now. So it's good that we've actually got them out of foster care, but we've got these 2 little grandchildren with issues that are really full on, and they are actually living with me. So I still have this subject come up from time to time, in that I am being crushed by my own resistance. And what have I been teaching? You've got to come into alignment, hey? Okay, coming into alignment. So I'm wanting you to focus on something right now that you are resistant to, okay, that you might be having your own challenging behaviors on. Because what happens is that which you're resisting from coming into close contact with, well, we better let the Tony in. Oh my God. Okay, so that which we're experiencing resistance from, let's say from, because when you have resistance from something, so in this case, it was this child who was just doing his utmost to teach me this lesson. Fantastic teacher. Okay, was doing his best to actually show me that maybe one day you're going to have to let go of OCD. Okay, so Tony, you've just come in. We're talking about the product of resistance. And resistance is, by the law of reflection, is coming up in my world. Okay, so we get down, we keep thinking that we're going around the mountain, as we come back to the same stuff. We're not really, we're kind of sort of, but we're coming up to the summit or getting down, drilling down to the core and mining that vibrational story, because everything comes down to a vibrational story, doesn't it? Okay. And that's what I love about quantum law. I don't have to judge myself. When I was actually experienced as like, oh my God, I can't believe that you thought that you wanted to kill the child. All right. So don't tell me that you don't have violent thoughts come up. I'm joking, but there it is. Okay. How do you feel about your kids sometimes? God, I just want to kill them. It's like, what are they doing? So some people are actually really loving people, okay, that have that written into their destiny. So my partner is this heart on legs. It's like, sure, bring them all in. Bring them all in. It's like, I'll cook and I'll clean and I'll be a slave to that. And she's happy to do that. Okay, that is her thing. I'm not that person. Okay, so it's like, sure, bring them all over at the same time, trash the house, and then we'll sort it out. But don't do it in slow dribbles over 30 days. Okay. All right. So we're starting to see what I'm like. My personality is coming out here. All right. God forgive me if I still believed in that. All right. So now we come into alignment, which means alignment is what? It's coming into a place of non-judgment. Okay. Coming into a place of alignment with your board of directors, your greater you. And thank goodness for this, because your greater you has got no issues whatsoever with the little pointy you. Isn't that great? So first and foremost, the little pointy you hasn't got any judgment coming from the board of directors, okay, over my behaviors and what I'm projecting onto my quantum field when I'm slightly out of control. Okay, so we try and actually come into control when we're in a resistant environment, when we've got someone in our face deliberately driving us nuts, or it might be just, someone that is just grinding us the wrong way, just rubbing us up the wrong way, and it keeps coming up because there's a vibrational story, an underlying story. Well, the first 3 levels, remember we talk about this, is the 3 levels, okay, is how do I do this myself to others? Okay, well, I'm OCD, so I must drive other people nuts. Okay, probably drove my children nuts, okay, while I was growing them up, partners, etc., because I like it a certain way. So you have to do it. You have to get to a point and going, well, I like a nice, clean home. That's the way I like it. And so I'm doing it for me. Okay, so I'm not doing it against someone, blaming someone, guilt in all of this. It's coming into alignment. And then you're actually in unconditional love doing something. This is a difference between doing something out of resistance, which is I am tolerating you. Okay. Did you know that there's a difference between acceptance and tolerance? Okay. When I tolerate your presence, okay, if I tolerate this thing, tolerance is not unconditional love, is it? It's actually, I'm just tolerating you in my space. I'm being nice. I hate nice. Nice is gross. So please don't ever be nice to me, people. Just speak up and out and get it out of your system, but don't ever be nice to me, okay? Because it's a horrible thing to be. Don't be nice. Isn't that funny? Didn't your parents say, be nice? Be nice. Always play nice, be nice. Okay, but we're actually taught to tolerate, okay? And this is not unconditional love. Now, this is the problem. Well, it's not a problem. So unconditional love is the leveler. It is the ghost muncher, munch, we've talked about before, of resistance. Anything that is standing in the way of love, anything that causes separation within yourself, separation from another, okay, separation, period, because that is a part of duality, isn't it? So duality has something that you are separating yourself from, and when that's happening, you're in self-protection. 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 Now that's an interesting one, isn't it? Did you know that if you're in self-protection, you're actually holding yourself away from unconditional love? Okay. A person who is self-protecting and has walls up is actually living, okay, at a less than 100% commitment to life, okay? And self-protection is holding us back in our shell, all right? It's not being 100% present. Okay, so I just want to put this in because when you feel, see, quantum law, quantum vibration, vibrational stories, vibrational light bodies, your light body is emanating a signal that says, not too close. I'll have a little bit of you, not too close. Okay, I'll tolerate you, but not too close. Okay, I don't want to become personally involved. I don't want to be affected. Okay, I've got to self-protect. So self-protection is not in unconditional love and is certainly not in alignment. However, yeah, we go through these stages of needing and feeling this, okay? So I'm just watching your comments as they come through and I go, oh, and what was that too? I don't know. Anyway, so unconditional love has got no need to self-protect. The greater you, your board of directors, your divine feminine, divine masculine, divine inner child has nothing to protect itself from. So when we're feeling a vibration of resistance, this is like, I'm like a bug on a live wire. Okay, something's triggering me off and it's driving me nuts and it won't go away. Okay, and I've got a couple of tiny things at the moment that will not go away and they're driving me nuts. And I know it's my own resistance, okay, which is why we're talking about today. Don't ever think I'm not teaching myself at the same time as I absolutely am living this myself. So when you're actually living something that is resistant and won't go away, I have to be able to look at myself, you know, and go, all right, what is this? So how am I doing this to myself is the first one. No, how am I doing this myself to others? So am I projecting this on other people and am I actually doing it to other people? Okay. Or how am I doing this to myself? Okay. How am I doing this same thing to myself vibrationally, energetically? Is it a message I'm giving myself? Am I not listening to myself? What is it that I'm doing? You know, am I betraying myself? What is it, you know? Because if I'm not being 100%, okay, and I'm not in 100% unconditional love, then we're going to find it difficult to get rid of this resistance. So the resistance just keeps coming up and it's because I'm actually creating it. Do you see that? I'm creating it, and that's why unconditional love is the only dissolver that will get rid of a vibrational story. Okay, so who wants to join with me in coming into some unconditional love right now? Shall we fill you up with diamond? I so need it, team. I really need it. Go on, project it back at me. I think that's great. Filling me up. Joe loved me up this morning and I almost had a tear. It was like, oh, thank you, Joe. He's such an encourager. Okay. But when I felt that, it's like triggered emotions are based in control. Let that go, Ruthie. All right, we can be human. We do feel like this, but let's come into alignment because alignment and unconditional love is a way better place to sit, isn't it? Okay, so if I'm actually losing it a little bit, I've got to come back into alignment. Okay, we can do the Ruthie walk. Did you know that there's a section in the book called the Ruthie walk? This is a marvelous
Chapter
thing.
15. Chapter 15.
I don't know what you're saying, Yazzie, but I love you anyway, okay? Do the Ruthie walk with me, okay? And it's joining with me and we go on a slow stroll together. Okay, I think Lisa and I have done a stroll. Who's done a stroll with me? Okay, it's where Tony's done the stroll with me. She has. Okay, so this is a lovely time of coming into alignment, and you're bringing the energy up from Mother Gaia, the emerald green energy in the Ruthie walk, up to your brain. Okay, and it's where we're actually filling up the brain. Why is that important? Because the brain chemistry rebalances. Ah, and that's where you find release, release, release. Okay, so just filling up your brain right now with the diamond energy. Just as I'm filling up mine, I'm just tuning into you all. I love you, beautiful souls. Oh my God, you're precious. Every single one of you. Oh, isn't that nice, hey? Balancing the DMT levels, balancing the serotonin and adrenaline levels. We're hooked on drugs, babies. We're hooked on chemicals. Okay, we need a good old drama to unfold, a little bit of resistance, okay, to get us going. And what's that good for? Making you feel alive in 3D, okay? It's really awesome having a thing to get sparked up over. Okay, however, from a quantum creator perspective, what's that doing? Well, I'm just pumping out more resistance because I'm resistant. So I'm pumping out resistance onto the quantum field, aren't I? Which means I get to live more of plan B, which is annoying in these moments. So I don't want to create any more of that. And that's one of my big, big motivators. It's like, oh my God, I'm already living some resistance. I don't want any more of this. And do you know what? When you actually dissolve, okay, the vibration of resistance and in unconditional love. So right now, as you're starting to really connect with your greater you, and just letting that delicious feeling flood you. Oh, isn't that relaxing? That's like being in a hammock, isn't it? With a pina colada. Just receive. And now it's just dropping into your heart chakra. Opening up your heart. You see, when we're not in alignment, the heart chakra is closed. Did you know that? Okay, the heart chakra closes to self-protect and opens when in alignment. Okay, this is why alignment is so important to you. The more you're in alignment, the more your heart is open, the greater your creativity and connection to the quantum field. Of course, you're in the quantum field, you're always tapped in, but this is where you're producing 3% creations, 33% creations, or 333% creations. When your heart chakra is fully open, okay, and this is what we do in our Quantum Living with Four Body Wellness School, opening up your heart fully to stay fully open, okay, permanently open. That's why we have to teach quantum law, so that when it's open, you're not going to be creating weird stuff for yourself. Okay, so it's kind of important to understand this. Whatever you're projecting, if you're sitting as a creator in resistance, this is a perfect example of creating more resistance. Okay, so just looking at your life and those things that you might be resistant to. Now, how did I get over this triggered emotion with this little one that was just disturbing me? Okay, well, one day I got to be babysitting. I was spending time with him, and I really had to let him just pick his nose and stick it all over me. And he was sitting on my knee, and we had stuff going on everywhere. He just shared his stuff, and I just had to let go. And mate, we had it going everywhere, every orifice. It was just awful. I just want you to feel sorry for me now. But not so, because I came into alignment. Okay, now this is the silver lining of resistance, all right? What happens when you give it up? When you just give up? Okay, now this is where the letting go, you know how people annoy you and say, oh, just let it go. That is rubbish. Okay, that is hard to do. Let it go. What am I letting go of? Okay, don't tell me just to let it go like it's not relevant to me. This is a part of the alchemy triangle. I have every right to feel like this. I will not judge myself, which is not really good when you're in resistance because you're absolutely judging yourself. However, as a part of letting it go, I have every right to feel like this because I do. I'm actually living this situation or because somebody else wouldn't take responsibility for their life. It's like, you know, he had everything set up. We did everything. We shared, we forked out, we did everything that we could. And this person wouldn't front up, okay, and still doesn't. Okay, it's been like a long holiday. Okay, wow. And we're doing the frontline stuff. Okay, so there's a little product of resistance right there. So what do? You have to keep coming into alignment, okay, standing in alignment. And when you come into alignment with your greater you, okay, the board of directors, your divine feminine, your divine masculine, divine inner child, they bring the goodness, they bring unconditional love, they allow you to dissolve and alchemize the situation, which brings in what? Greater assistance. So we end up with, oh, somebody's coming to do this for us now. Somebody's going to do, oh, great. So we actually get assistance to do what it is that we need. And you can call that a miracle. I call it lining up with my, my creations. Okay, so resistance is a very powerful thing. I just want to read out to you the source of resistance. Okay, so I like to use lucid dreaming or remote viewing. So I'll go down at a time when I'm quiet. Okay, it's usually before or after sleep. Okay, when I've gone into a deeper sleep and I've just come back out of it or I'm going into it. So I use lucid dreaming a lot. And I'm going, resistance, what is this? Okay, and this is really important to understand because what is this? It turned out that as I went into this little one's resistance, okay, because I'm thinking, wow, this kid's going to live a whole year, you know, time of his life being like this, you know, and this is where we see people wrapped in disability. Okay, I don't want that for you. You know, how do we heal these things? Resistance had come as a generational thing from the lineage. Okay, so he was actually wrapped in resistance, okay, at conception. Isn't that interesting? So his parents, okay, were both resistive to alignment, to living a pure creative life. Okay, this resistance had them embedded, and that was generational dysfunction that was actually passed on to them as well. So this story of resistance actually wrapped them and it made it difficult for him to be. Now, this is why we are so important on the earth, because we are dissolvers of resistance. Okay, so unconditional love, not tolerance, unconditional love is the Christos essence, which does the alchemy. It actually dissolves, okay, the story vibration of resistance. And that day when I cracked it with him, that I had to allow myself to just let go, do you know what? That little boy just came online. It was amazing. Okay, so suddenly I had this little trooper next to me doing all sorts of stuff, being assistive, supportive, following through. Amazing. Okay, his behaviors changed. His isness came into 100%. And so now we actually talk from 100%. Let's be 100%. Okay, and so he knows the difference between being 20% to 100%. And I want us to know that as well. There's a difference to being 20% and having a 20% day than there is a 100% day, isn't there? Okay, because when we're actually resisting, we're actually pumping out 80% disharmony. Now this is really cool. So if my heart chakra isn't actually open fully and I am in self-protection, try and add this up together, okay? I'm actually projecting only 40, 60, maybe 20% unconditional love projections. Okay, so I've got a lot of resistance going on because I'm self-protecting. Self-protection is a really big one because it actually stops people from trusting you. So you might be feeling strong in oneself in self-protection, and self-protection is old school. Okay, this is what we're talking about boundaries the other day. So boundaries is an old concept. It's not a new leadership from a quantum perspective. Okay, so if you have got walls up, as in boundaries, there's a vibrational story that's keeping you from unconditional love. And this was the third part. Remember, I say, how do I do this myself to others? How do I do this to myself? How do I do this to my soul? Okay, this is the third part. The third part is so important because I'm actually protecting myself from the greatest love, from unconditional love. Do you get that? So if I'm not actually living 100% in alignment, okay, which is oozing unconditional love, which is dissolving those vibrational frameworks, which creates no consequences of cause and effect, okay? Instead, if we're in resistance, we're actually getting cause and effect to the exact degree that we as a creator are holding ourselves back from unconditional love. Isn't that cool? Okay, so this can be changed. Okay, can be changed by coming into alignment, which is unconditional love. So feeling your light bodies right now, feeling yourself being okay with the world, okay, feeling yourself being okay without issue is the stuff. So it brings you out of resistance. And this is this is why people live so much resistance in plan B that we talk about, is because they're projecting 80% resistance into their relationship with their board of director connection, their resistance to the world in judgments and opinions, and their relationships. And then they go, oh, I don't know what's going on. And then they seek counseling. Okay, because you have to understand that if you're actually pumping that out, if you're actually projecting this out and you're a creator and they're feeling only 20% commitment from you, okay, which I was a very hurt and wounded person. So I was only ever pumping out about 20%. I was totally self-protecting. Okay. And then this started coming up in my reflection. And so this is where these quantum sightings have come from, these understandings have come from the lived reflection of what I was experiencing. And then I'd be heartbroken about something. I go, oh my God, I didn't know I was doing this, but I was actually, because I was hurt, I was wounded, because I was wounded, I was self-protecting, because I was self-protecting, okay, I wouldn't allow others in. And because I wouldn't allow others in, they could not trust me or respect me. Isn't that interesting? I just want you to sit in that for a moment. So anyone's not feeling commitment from other people, look at your own commitment levels and self-protection. For those that don't feel that they are being trusted by others, look again at your self-protection and your own commitment levels, okay? Because you have resistance in that. And I had to go past that and go, oh my God, you know what? I am 100% committed to this decision. Okay, I've made this decision, whether it be to a partner, okay, to be a circumstance or whatever, and come to go, you know what, I can be living anything on this planet right now. Okay, I'm a creator, I know that. Okay, but what's the point? You know, I can actually live with anyone, can't I? I can have any story going on, doesn't really matter. Okay, who do you love? You want to pour into that person? Yep. So then you're actually living whatever it is. And of course, these circumstances are going to bring it up. But as long as I've decided, okay, I've decided to be able to make that decision. I've decided for myself and I'm not having regrets on that decision, then I'm actually going to just live my experience and become better and better at being in unconditional love. Does that make sense? And then we actually see, because in those moments, if I actually have got triggered emotions going on, okay, I can come back into alignment and bring peace to it, which means we just start the next moment off fresh, make a new decision, off we go. All right, or whatever. And it's very important too, because I've been also shown that, something is a part of your destiny or it's not. Okay, is this my destiny? It's not actually. Okay, my destiny is not this. My destiny is doing what I'm doing. Okay, Tara's destiny is the children. Okay, she's got a strong generational thing that she's got to do with her destiny and the children. Okay, I absolutely adore her, and that's why I'm actually living this, because I love her. Okay, we're a perfect reflection of one another. Okay, in different ways. So it's very interesting being on this side and connecting up with quantum as a master, that you've actually come through this doorway into soul sovereignty. Now you're making these direct decisions as a quantum creator on what you're going to live. I just wanted to bring this subject up of resistance, because what is going on is that when you dissolve resistance, you are also able to dissolve it in that little one's life. Okay, so instead of them being subject to the system, okay, we can actually at least bring him back to family. Then we can actually, keep dissolving the resistance, and hopefully the mother will heal, okay, and take on her responsibilities, whatever. Everyone is a separate creator, but to be living with this resistance that comes from generations, okay, that comes through in conception. So if you've never read this book, there's Ramtha, the big white book of Ramtha, and teaches wonderfully on conception, okay, what the parents were conceiving at the time. So what they are vibrationally living. So we had a little baby. It was amazing. I'll tell you this story. I don't know whether I put it in the book. Okay, these dogs got out of their yard, and I actually found them. One was an old dog and was sitting at my feet, just lapping up some energy and some healing. Anyway, I put it up a notice, and somebody said, "Oh, I know who owns them." Okay, and came around later on. They were with me for a few hours. Anyway, this old one was sitting at my feet, getting some healing. And she goes, "Oh, do you do healing?" And I said, "Yes, I do." She goes, "I've got someone who's just desperate. Their little baby has had reflux since it was born. It's like 5 months old, and it's just vomiting its little heart out. Isn't that awful, what people are living?" And so this child was just completely distressed, malnourished, okay, not keeping food in the body. The parents, who were actually like a nurse, an RN, so imagine living with that, thinking I've tried everything, I don't know what to do about it. Husband issues because everyone's tired, exhausted. So I went in and met the child, and he just goes, "Oh my God, you're here." It was like this great big process to get me to that house. And he was actually just across town. And I really feel for people, they're just so experiencing suffering for different reasons, and we can actually assist and help them. So this little baby's like, "Oh my God, you're here," And so he spent time with me. We did some healing. I said, "What was going on with you at the time of his conception?" And do you know, they were in like a royal commission? So they're in this massive big lawsuit at the highest government level. And it was ongoing. And of course, this anxiety and everything was actually transferred into him, because he's the same. He's feeling, okay, what mother's carrying. And this is stuff that they've already proven with 9/11, etc., that those that were pregnant at that time, that takes on fear, it takes on resistance, okay, it has an effect on the child that comes through. So this little fella went through all of this, and that's because of what he was actually conceived with. Okay, so conception is a powerful thing. And then, of course, being in the womb, what they are responding to, how they're actually reacting to. And so he was born into this wrapping of resistance. And this is where, for those of you that are coming into the law of acquisition stuff, we're talking about creation wrapping, Well, we're actually wrapped. Okay. So I was wrapped in a lot of weakness, okay, which I've had to overcome. It was a female lineage given to me. Thanks, Mum. But apart from that, we're all over and through it, you know. But getting rid of the generational side of it, or clearing the vibrational resistance stories, is so important. And really, the only thing that can do that is unconditional love. Okay, so the resistance, then we become light workers. We're dissolving that resistance. We're letting it go. And we have it coming up for a reason. So as long as you know that it's coming up for a reason, because your time to let resistance go. And it can happen on anything, okay? Whatever triggers you. Triggered emotions are based in control. Remember the TIA, okay? If you have any triggered emotions, you get frustrated, you're losing control. That's what it's about. What am I controlling? Okay, let go of control. My OCD, I had to let go of that. All right. And then this is the beauty of it. When that vibrational story is finished and resistance dissolves, I had another little human being. You wouldn't believe the change in him. And it was ongoing change. Okay. He became a happy little human. Okay. Instead of just running around all over the place. And this is what we also do with the heart rhythm resets on children. So the heart rhythm reset, we do it in clinics, or you can just do it one-on-one. But children on the spectrum who have ADHD or any form of association with it, we don't mind, are all traumatized children, okay? And they're being more and more traumatized daily. They're being micromanaged. It's getting beyond ridiculous in that they are just drugged to the eyeballs. And it's all from trauma. Okay, and resistive energies, they are resisting what their parents are telling them. And parents are telling them things that are not correct from a soul perspective. Okay, they're being forced to live things that they don't want to live. Okay, and shouldn't be living from a soul perspective. And so we are drugging them. We're trying to keep them quiet. We're trying to get them normal. Okay, so we do a heart rhythm reset. And this is just a few minutes of pouring diamond energy into the heart chakra, front and back. And do you know what? They just settle. Their trauma, what it does is it actually resets the heart chakra rhythm. Okay, so we're not actually doing it on the heart itself. It is the heart chakra rhythm. And they go boom, 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 and gets bigger and bigger. And then it goes and completely just relaxes them. And that heart rhythm is reset. The child's behaviors change, okay, incredibly. Their behaviors are gone. And then we actually have to train the parents and teach them don't play the game, and how they got to that point and what they've been feeding into and how they need to reparent now. Honestly, if anyone else is interested in doing a parenting course with me, I wouldn't mind something like this, because I actually need to do some more work in the parenting side of it and get that out. Because we got little souls who are just wrapped up in this nonsense. They're not here. They're actually here spontaneously sharing resistance, being resistant to show us, okay, when they don't have to. You know, we can actually just be living a happy life that's productive, loving, caring, progressive, creating. Okay, so this is a big thing. And so that's why I've written this book, is so that we can stop this generational abuse. You know, we've got little children becoming parents. We've got wounded adults. Okay, parenting just re-traumatizes the next generation. So we do have things that we can do. Okay, the heart rhythm reset is very powerful. And by the way, we actually do that on pets. Okay, your beloved fur baby. Okay, we can actually do it on pets because a lot of them are traumatized. Doesn't take much to injure or traumatize an animal. Okay, so we can actually do the heart rhythm reset on your pet. Their behaviors change from being all over the place, bouncing off the walls, chasing things, to being this beautiful little creature that will just wander along beside you and be your best friend forever. So we do these behaviors. Challenging behaviors comes out of resistance. Okay, comes out of your vibrational light body as a transmission energy, and it can be passed on to in so many different ways. Rightio, let's open up the floor and to anyone that has a question on this. Oh, do you? You work with conscious parenting. Wonderful. Yeah, teenagers. Wow, fantastic, aren't you? Wonderful. We should sit down and compare notes. It's a whole new way of doing things now. You know, whatever we're bringing through, it's like this can, you know, let's make it short, neat and sweet. But the biggest thing, of course, is unconditional love. Did anyone have their hand up? Please ask me a question or share, whatever you like. I'll have a sip. Nothing, not a thing. Wow, good on you. Yeah, go Kasha.
Thank you for letting me, brave woman, to speak. I just wanted to to ask you, because on my journey I have I really, over the years, I was looking for some solutions, and I always heard that, oh, let it go, let it go, let it go, and I'm like, no, I don't get it, how you can let it go. So in recent times I have learned how to refocus my mind, and how to get the alignment, and how to make the past to do not disappear or to detach from me, because it is still in my past. But I really believe I make it right now kind of shaded away, instead of letting this go.
Yeah.
So what do you think about
it? Well, dissolving resistance is dissolving it. So what you're doing is you're actually releasing the vibrational story to the fifth dimension and above. When something is vibrationally let go, it's going and it's gone. Okay, so you can use, like I use Archangel Michael and his Blu-ray angels. From time to time, it's like, can you please just take this dense energy, this vibrational story, whatever it is, to the fifth dimension and above, never to return. So you have to believe. This is why I teach you who you are. Okay, when you understand that you are a creator, okay, energy goes where you intended to flow. You're the boss. No, I do not give knowing consent to this. No, I'll have this. No, the vibrational story goes to the fifth dimension above. That's where it's going. It's not, well, I hope that it doesn't come back. Okay, so this is why I'm wanting you to understand your authority. It's like, get rid of it. You add it to your universe of inclusion, or you take it out of your universe of inclusion. Isn't that beautiful? So you have control over everything, and nothing can happen without you allowing it. So when you say let go, yeah, that just drove me nuts, because I never understood. I needed some mental stimulation on that. It's like, tell me what it is. I need to understand this intellectually, intelligently, because we are intelligent creators. So just, that blasé side of it, I'll just let it go. Well, I'm more likely to slap people on it. Okay, which is resistance. Don't do that. Okay, that's violence, naughty. Okay, but what I'm saying is let the resistance go, which comes in through absolution, dissolving the vibrational story. So this is understanding what light is. Light, the pure Christos light of the creator within you, your soul, okay, is so perfect, so pure, so holy, your holy self, your holy Christ itself, the greater you, your higher self, the I am presence. I'm using all of these things so you go, oh yes, you'll get one of them, okay, is so pure, it's keeping you upright on your feet, but it has within it the soul fire. What is a soul fire? Read the book, okay? The soul fire is the purifying agent, okay, of any anomaly. If you've miscreated, the soul fire will apply this burning. And that's why it says burn off the dross. What's the dross? Well, when you're actually purifying gold, the dross is being burnt off, okay, and released to waste to purify the metals. So when you're actually doing this alchemy is the same thing, isn't it? It's changing the chemistry of something. Okay, the alchemist who loves this stuff. I love alchemy. Okay, so we are changing, we're transforming it into something else. What are we transforming a resistance to? We're transforming it into unconditional love, which is just pure light, which means the story is dissolved. It no longer exists. That's why what you said, Kasha, about the past. So it's there, but it's not active and it's not alive if I'm in the now moment. Okay? Ever projecting, just make a decision from here. Remember, Deepak Chopra says that memory that is devoid of the past nor anticipating the future is right here, right now. Okay, and this is where the power is. That's where we are. So there is no vibrational story except that I keep telling myself that it is so. No. So in every moment and every day, every moment and every day, first thing, remember we talked about, I had someone who actually knew this. It was so cool. So between 6 and 7, you get a fresh dose of neutralized electrons down through your light field, okay, every morning between 6 and 7. And that's when you do that big yawn and stretch and go, oh, I feel so tired. I don't want to go to work today. And you're just sitting there feeling like mush. And you're actually aligned, okay? You just had a great big dose of neutralized electrons come into your system, of which you now can imprint with power, love, and will. Use your own will, love, and power, which is threefold flame within the altar of your heart. Okay? And depending on how you utilize that, you can either bring yesterday into today, or you can actually just start fresh. So understanding how your light body is set up is absolutely vital. Okay, so no, it will live. So this is how resistant energies will dissolve and are actually recycled back into 5D and above to be used tomorrow. And this is why people get chronic fatigue. Okay, all they're doing is pumping it out and then living in survival mode. So their projections are incredibly poor. Okay, they're so unwell for whatever reason, but their energetic system's not being restored. It's not actually being recycled. So I'm pumping out. And this is the old empath story. It's sort of like, oh, I get tired of being used. Well, you're not being used, okay? You're just not using your light body properly. Okay, you haven't been taught how to use it properly, because this is an eternal system, okay? I can't run out of light. That's impossible. The only thing is that I'm not using my light body properly because I haven't been taught properly. So that's why we set up people's light bodies, okay? So I'm empowered, I'm in my power. Now I can actually do the work. Now I can actually create whatever it is that I want. So all parts of this loops in together into understanding yourself as a being of light, how to get rid of resistant vibrations that are driving you nuts, and why the power of unconditional love is so perfect. Okay, so pure and so holy that in a holy instant, we actually can dissolve resistance. Yeah. No worries. Who else had their hand up? Joe. Beautiful Joe, go.
Hey, Ruth. I was kind of in and out of the room with the computer in it while you were talking about the heart rhythm reset. I heard you talk about it. It helps children with ADD, ADHD. I think I even heard OCD type stuff as well. Does that have with like autism, high functioning autism type stuff as well?
Is this you?
My son.
Your son. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So absolutely vital to know this. You know, energy work is genius. Okay, any form of alternative therapy over the medical model is better. Okay, but yes, we do heart rhythm reset on children. It only takes about 15 minutes or so, but then we need to educate the parent. Okay, because the parent doesn't understand the drama triangle. They don't understand the game. They don't understand the quantum law that goes with it, which is why I do a section in particular called don't play the game. Okay. And it's in the book. Okay. So that I do go into it. I prefer my visual style. I'll be changing that shortly. But it is wonderful. When you understand how vibrational law works, you just will stop playing it, because you see, vibrational law means you're a creator. And so we keep perpetuating the condition that keeps showing up. We keep perpetuating it through judgments. We perpetuate it through diagnosis. It's like, come, lay a label on my child, and then we're trying to figure it out. Well, we're being, trying to unpack behaviors and drugs and incessant. This poor child is going, will you just let me be me, and half the time.
Thankfully he's not on drugs yet, but this weekend trying to get him to understand that he is his own creator, and that, if he can change his mindset, he's on the right path. But he has that but situation, like, I want to do this, but then he throws in the but my mother, and I was like, no, you got to stop that but. Quit, throw those butts out the window type talk to him. So
It's true.
Definitely would like to, I think it was Yasmin said chapter 15 for the heart rhythm reset. So I might have to jump ahead and read that chapter and see how I can apply it to mini me.
Well, the biggest thing is being in alignment, because generally when you're in alignment, you have got no issue. Okay, and this is, again, when you have got no issue, you're not actually allowing the things that would normally be resistant behaviors to come up. Okay, and we've got to remember where these children get their trauma from. They're responding to trauma. Okay, they are a vibrational world, and they're responding to what has been put upon them. Okay, or is associated with them from a day-to-day thing. And if they're being micromanaged, I see the vaccinations start off with, okay, first time that they had a nasty thing pumped into their perfect world, you are interfering with a perfect world, and we all feel it's like, oh my God, that just feels disgusting, but we don't trust our intuition, and we just do what is socially accepted. So believe me, our children have been affected by these decisions of what are social norms. And that's why I've written this book. There's not a single social norm that we as creators should be accepting. Okay, we should be very discretionary. We should know how our bodies work, know what we've been inflicting our children on, and bring them out of these resistances as naturally as possible. And that's why all of the new systems are coming up. Thanks, Kasha. See you soon. All right, do you understand that? So it's like, this is why we're looking for new ways. This is why I've written an entire book on this, so that we can see all of the different disturbances in the force that we're passing on to our generations, to our innocence, and we need to bring innocence back in. So innocence is unconditional love. Isn't that beautiful? So every time, if I can just train you to come into alignment, alignment is unconditional love, and then all of those other things have to dissolve. So you won't see the behaviors when you're in unconditional love. Okay, in fact, you're more surprised, like, really that's happening? Why is that? Because I'm not creating this. Okay, it's just lovely. All right, so I better let you go, I suppose. If there is would anyone like to share what they got out of today? I'd really like to see that. Right, a little bit of love's good. Remember to share this work out, okay? Because people are like yourselves, wanting to know the difference. They're wanting to find freedom, okay? Wanting to find solution. There's a lot of solution in this. Thanks, Anne. Appreciate the comments. All right. Okay, so I'll see you on my next class.
Sorry,
okay?
I had a lot of background noise. That's why I couldn't speak up. But my life has changed. It's like, as soon as I think of something, it comes up. Like if I want money, a channel for money comes through, and I wasn't happy with that channel because it wasn't real money. It was another way. So I asked for another way of money. So they give me another way of money, and I'm just asking. It's so fast now. So I'm really grateful.
Excellent. Oh, you're manifesting all over the place. And that's right. You can say at any point, no, not this way. You know, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it this way. But then again, you know, you've got to move through what you used to do so that you can then start getting better and more discretionary at what you're projecting. Yeah. Excellent. At least you're getting money, Yazzie. Still people here trying to sort out the basics on this. You're doing it. It's fantastic. Anyone else, Darla? How did you like that?
Actually, this class was really great. It actually showed me where another space in my life where I've already conquered that. I'm able to take it, and it gave me the aha moment to just now where I'm able to do exactly what I need to do for my health. With the report that I've had this week, it has not been looking good. They want to go in and do a cardiac cath and a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
And I just want everybody to know that I'm really, truly, I've been doing this and living this for so long myself, that your word today was just confirmation for me that I know that what I need to do so that I'm okay. I'm good.
Awesome.
I can stand in my I'm good, and I'm going to continue to walk it. And I'm going to have the really great report because I'm going to have the papers that say one thing, and I'm going to walk it out with the other because I know how to walk it out.
Yeah.
So when you talked about the part about the hurt, the wounded, the self-protecting, that space made me go back to a point when I was in counseling. And in that counseling session, the one thing the counselor kept asking me over and over again was, but I don't understand. You've been through so many things. You should be so broken. You should have all these things that keep bringing this stuff up, and you should have all these triggers. You have PTSD. And I kept saying, no, I don't. I had experiences that were horrible that somebody else did to me. That's not mine. That's somebody else. It just happened.
That's an amazing person that can do that.
And they kept telling me at that point, and I said, you know what? I decided that my unknown is safer than going back and repeating the same story over and over. And I just jumped. And that was my thing. And I'm sitting here listening today, and the resistance, I can tell you where it's coming from. When I was listening to you today, is you said, what is it that you're resisting? I'm living a vibration right now in a line with something I don't like to do anymore. Something I used to love to do, but my life has changed and I don't want to do it anymore, but I'm going in and doing it. So my body has created an issue so that I don't have to go do it. So now I just go and get rid of that. This all will go away and everything's going to be fine.
It is so easy to get rid of the story. Good girl.
I just wanted to share that this was absolutely amazing, and I'm going to go ahead and just get myself in check. Alignment, here I come.
That is how it works, people. That is how it works. When you get to the end of your vibrational story, the silver lining brings you out of resistance, okay? Which brings me up to what happened this week. So my granddaughter had to go and babysit yesterday because she's had this horrible virus for like 2 weeks. And my daughter, who was starting a new job yesterday, which is why I was covering, had to have her home from childcare. Anyway, so this virus has been going on even to the point of being hospitalized. I was doing healing work on it, no response. The child was totally rejecting it anyway. And then finally, my daughter ended up going, I got what it was all about. I actually cast a judgment. This was like such a short comment. And do you know, it broke? And this child just took this great big sigh and then did this long, deep breath out. And it went on for so long that she thought she wasn't still breathing. But this was her, and she let go of the virus, okay? There was no virus. So with me being OCD, well, I'm not anymore, but it was gone. There was nothing left of this. And we took her to the park and had fun in the sun and she was just coming back from having released the vibrational story, this resistance that was going on. It is from a creator. We create it. It's a vibrational story that's come to us, okay, which is why we cleanse and heal ourselves of a vibrational story. Once the vibrational story is let go, just as she did, she just went, and then whew, big deep breath out and let that entire virus leave her body. Okay, this is what miracles are. Okay, whatever you want to call it, this is what healing is finally getting to let go of a vibrational story. And that's what we do in our 90-minute healing sessions. We get down to vibrational stories. If you can't do it for yourself, book in on diamondmatrixmasters.net. Okay, we've got lots of things that we do to assist you to move through these spaces and to free your life up, etc. Thank you. That was amazing, Dana. Whew, this is the stuff. It's just knowing how it works. Hey, we just set ourselves free all over the place.
Thank you, Ruthie. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate my board of directors when I finally learned that. Okay. Anyone else? No worries. Thanks, Anne. I thought you were leaving ages ago. She's still here somewhere. There she is. All right, I'm just going to sign this off. Stop the recording.